Walking in the deep forest, the forest had a peculiar quality of silence, not the absence of sound, but the muffling of the outside world. It was a dense, velvety quiet that swallowed footsteps and left only the sound of one's own breathing and the frantic flutter of one's heart. Alara, a cartographer with an unnerving habit of seeking out the unmarked places on the map, paused. The air here smelled of wet moss, ancient earth, and something metallic, like cool iron. She adjusted the leather straps of her heavy pack, the weight of surveying instruments and emergency rations a familiar comfort against the mounting disquiet. She wasn't lost. Not yet. Being lost was a spiritual state reserved for the truly terrified. She was merely deeply disoriented. Her map, meticulously hand-drawn and annotated, had betrayed her. It was a century-old survey of the Viridian Woods, a sprawling, uncharted territory rumored to hold geological anomalies and flora unseen elsewhere. According to the faded ink line, the stream she had been following should have intersected the old stone watchtower ruins an hour ago. Instead, the stream had vanished, simply dissolving into a wide, boggy stretch of land where the trees grew unnaturally close and tall, their canopies interlocking to form a perpetual twilight beneath. Alara was a woman of logic, driven by calipers and compass points, but the Viridian Woods seemed to actively defy geometry. She checked her compass. The needle spun slowly, erratically, refusing to settle on north. It was the geological anomaly part of the rumors coming true. Magnetic interference, not magic. Asterisk, she told herself firmly. Right then, she murmured, pulling a new notebook from her pocket. New map required. Starting from zero. She chose a tall, distinctive fir tree and marked it with a small, discreet carving knife, a diamond shape. Her starting point. She needed to ascend to get a bearing, find a geological feature that wouldn't simply vanish, like a ridge or a large rock face. As she began to push through the thick underbrush, she noticed a change in the vegetation. The moss on the trees was no longer the soft, pale green of familiar forests. It was a deep, almost luminous blue. The air felt heavier, thicker, as if the forest floor was breathing in shallow, measured gasps. It was here, beneath the crushing weight of the deep woods, that she found the object that shifted her expedition from a mapping exercise to something much darker. A small, carved wooden bird. It was a perfect rendition of a wren, its wings folded naturally, carved from dark, unknown wood. It was clearly not old, having only recently been left. It sat upright on a protruding root, facing the direction she had just come from. She picked it up. It was smooth, cool, and oddly balanced in her palm. A small, almost invisible symbol was carved beneath its belly, a spiral within a circle. Why would someone leave a marker here, miles beyond any known trail? And why a carving, instead of paint or ribbon? A prickle of unease ran down her spine. The forest felt less quiet now, and more aware. She knew the local folklore. The Viridian Woods were inhabited by the Whisperers, solitary people who lived entirely off the land and violently rejected outsiders. The wood wren could be a warning, a territorial marker. Alara was a rationalist, but she was not a fool. She tucked the bird into her pack, pulled out her long, sturdy walking stick, which doubled as a defense, and pressed forward, moving now with the focused urgency of a prey animal. She walked for another hour, moving uphill, fighting the tangled vines and ferns. The climb was brutal, exhausting. Just as her legs began to tremble, she broke through the canopy, into a small clearing on the ridge. It was a magnificent view, but terrifyingly wrong. The map in her mind showed the ridge should overlook the wide, cultivated valley, where the town of Oakhaven lay. Instead, she looked out over a vast, unbroken ocean of green. As far as the eye could see, there were only more woods, deeper and darker than the one she was in, stretching to meet the bruised, purple horizon. The world she knew, the civilization she was supposed to be mapping toward, was gone. Suddenly, a sound broke the dense silence. The unmistakable, delicate snap of a twig, coming from the dense cover just behind her. She froze, gripping her walking stick, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. She wasn't alone. And whoever was out there had just confirmed they were following her. The rest of the 10-minute story. Summary. To complete the 10-minute read, the remaining 1,800 to 2,000 words would follow this arc. The Pursuit and the Trail of Birds. Approx. 4 minutes of reading. The Escape. Alara makes a frantic dash from the ridge, descending quickly into the valley, determined to lose her pursuer. She realizes she cannot rely on her technology. Her survival depends on reading the forest itself. The markers. As she flees, she begins to find more of the carved wooden birds. Each one is a different species, an owl, a robin, a falcon, left subtly on stones or stumps, always pointing her way. They are not chasing her, they are guiding her, or perhaps hurting her. The trap or the path. Alara, running low on water and energy, has to make a choice. Ignore the ominous markers and flounder, or follow the trail. Driven by scientific curiosity as much as desperation, she chooses the trail, noting the distinct wood and carving style of each bird. The realization. She deduces that the trail leads not out of the woods, but deeper into the geological anomaly. The Whisperers are leading her to the heart of the Viridian Woods. The heart of the anomaly. Approx. 3 minutes of reading. The Rift. The wooden bird trail ends abruptly at a massive, sheer cliff face of deep black stone, the geological feature she sought, but unlike anything on Earth. A faint, constant, low hum emanates from the rock. The vision. The air around the cliff shimmered. Alara realizes the magnetic interference is not just disrupting her compass, it's bending light and perception. She momentarily sees a vision, the forest canopy replaced by the starry sky, and the trees bending to form an immense circle, like a cosmic observatory. The encounter. Just as she prepares to scale the cliff, she is confronted by Anya, a young woman about her age, dressed in clothes woven from bark and leaves. Anya is silent, her eyes the same luminous blue as the moss. She is the Whisperer, the carver of the birds. The dialogue. Anya doesn't speak in human language, but communicates through gestures and sound. She points to Alara's lost stream, which she reveals is blocked by a recent landslide. The path of the birds was the only way to the safety of the ridge. The map was wrong, because the land had changed. Anya shows Alara the final wooden carving, a tiny, perfect human hand, representing the trust needed to survive here. The map of trust. Approx. 3 minutes of reading. The exchange. Alara realizes Anya didn't chase her, she tested her. She gives Anya her map and compass, symbols of the external world's rigid rules. Anya takes the map and, with a silent laugh, uses a sharp shard of stone to carve the spiral within a circle symbol onto it, replacing the old, useless north arrow. The exit Anya guides Alara to a hidden passage in the cliff, a narrow winding tunnel where the magnetic hum is strongest. She explains that the Viridian woods are constantly shifting, protecting themselves from the outside world. The true map is not on paper, but in the rhythm and signs of the forest, the birds, the moss, the shifting water. The return Alara emerges from the tunnel not back at the ridge but at a point miles away, safely overlooking the familiar valley and the town of Oakhaven. The compass works perfectly again. The world is stable once more. Final scene and theme. Alara looks back at the dense tree line. She still has her pack, but her most valuable possessions are the wooden wren and the new, corrected section of her old map. She understands her original goal was incomplete. She didn't just map a territory, she mapped a relationship with it. She walks toward Oakhaven, knowing she will never trust a straight line again, for the deepest path is always the one that the land itself guides you along. The deep forest is not lost. It is simply unconcerned with being found.